you know, the two truths can live in one realm. But yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards, man. Let's start looking at what's going on in the papers and all those sort of things, people. Let's close that. First things first, before anything, people. Again, some of you have always been asking with this Henderson and Gabriel thing. Update on the investigation in relation to Arsenal and Liverpool, people. Following an investigation into an allegation received by the FA in the Premier League fixture between, obviously, the two sides on the 9th of October, FA can confirm that it's NFA. They will not be taking any disciplinary action. They received a complaint about an incident involving two players in this fixture. As a result of the complaint, the FA conducted a full and thorough investigation. The investigation, including taking witness statements from the complainant and the accused, along with additional 6 players who were within proximity of the alleged incident, reviewing multiple angles of video footage and seeking independent linguistics experts' evidence. None of the witnesses heard the alleged comment, and the player accused has denied the allegation throughout. Whilst the FA is entirely satisfied that the allegation was made in good faith, it is entirely satisfied that there's no case to answer. So there you have it, and that's that really. Weston McKennie can stay at yard, man. Let him do up spring break and that. Arsenal in talks to wear bespoke new Adidas kit for PSV match to avoid clash in the Europa League, people. Apparently, Adidas have helped reach a potential compromise by designing bespoke grey shorts to be worn on the night, paired with Arsenal's black away shirt and socks, people. On the topic of that, people, we will be watching PSV Arsenal tomorrow, people. And obviously later today, smash the like button. We'll be watching Bayern Munich against Barcelona. Must win for Barcelona. Somehow they're going to beat, you know, going out. Away from that, what's this? Irrelevant. Arsenal begin talks with technical director Edu over a new long-term contract after his star signings guided Mikel Arteta's side to the top of the table amid growing interest in the Brazilian. We have heard for quite a while there's a couple of European clubs. Fabrizio Romano said 2 European clubs that are allegedly interested in Edu. Naturally, he was going to get a new deal to probably tie in long-term. I'm not going to lie, big up Edu, but if you could get someone more experienced than him, then I would. I like what Edu's done. You have to give him some praise. He's helped to bring in signings. I just feel when you look at January and you look at the summer, when the pressure's on and we just need a miracle sort of thing, I don't think he's been able to get the striker at the time in January and obviously a midfielder in the summer. But, you know, if there's talk over Saliba, Martinelli, Gabriel signed a new deal, Xhaka talk, Ramsdale talk, a bunch of new players, new deals. Mikel Arteta signed a new deal not too long ago. We hope Saka, Martinelli and Saliba get new deals. Probably makes sense for the technical director to get one in it. Really and truly. So yeah, it is what it is. Apparently he's impressed in his role as Gunner's transfer guru in recent years. You know, you got to go and get me a Guimaraes, really, because I blame you for not bringing Guimaraes and in for him being up Tyneside. But Arsenal moved to secure the future of Edu after the Brazilian's impressive summer transfer window. As you know, he was involved in the signings of Jesus and Zinchenko and anything else we've done. Smash the like button. He's won an FA Cup with Arteta as well. So the Cronkies believe he should be rewarded. And, you know, when you hear that we're trying to build up links with other clubs in Holland and Brazil and that, Edu could do a lot. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I am very much harsher on Edu because I just feel Arteta is learning on the job. I think it's a very unique situation to have a young squad, a young technical director and a young manager. If you could, I would prefer an experienced director because I do think someone with more experience could maybe pull a rabbit out the hat. But I'm not against Edu. Pick him up. He's developing a reputation as one of the most impressive football administrators in European football, and the Gunners want their former midfielder to sign a contract renewal. Sportsmail, obviously of the Daily Mail people, understands that the wheels are in motion towards a new deal for Edu, which Arsenal hope will secure his long-term future amid growing interest in the technical director. And it means if things go wrong, more compensation for you. Long-term could be anything. It could be 3 years. It could be 5 years. So who knows? There has been concrete interest from at least 2 European clubs in Edu, something Arsenal are understood to be aware of. Sources have described the interest in Edu as a very interesting, people. Edu is believed to be happy at the Emirates, and indications are that the South American is minded to commit to the Premier League club. And I do, as much as I like what Arteta is doing, maybe if certain things weren't done at other clubs like Arteta, he might be out of a job. Edu might lose his technical director job. But I like what we're doing. Keep it going, innit? So, yeah, and it sends out a good message. If Arteta signed a new deal, if the other players sign a new deal, then obviously, as long with the technical director, it tells potential targets that anything can happen in football. Just because you signed a new deal don't mean you can't get sacked, but it shows, without talking about the dynamics, that things can happen, innit? As you can see here, people, Barca hold back on bid to sign Ruben Neves. What? Then we need to get involved then. What is? Anyways, Barca hold back on their plan to sign Wolves star Ruben Neves as long-term replacement for Busquets, with Xavi fearing the midfielder would not fit into his system at the Camp Nou or Nou Camp. Apparently, they were reportedly keen on signing him in January for 50 million euros or on loan with an obligation to buy him. That equates to about 43 million, contracted until 2024 as well, really. And Wolves aren't doing that good. So I do think that's a bit pricey, but, you know, Barca are not involved. Let's get involved as well, really. Or maybe it's too expensive. But, yeah, maybe Xavi might not even have a job as well, man. Even though I want Xavi to work out. Arsenal to back Mikel Arteta's Premier League title challenge with 50 million transfer war chest in January. And the Gunners boss wants to add a midfielder and a winger in bid to sustain charge. All depends, man. It's going to have to be emerging talents, really and truly. I can see us. You could get a midfielder, but a midfielder and a winger based on if we carry on the same sort of profile that we was linked with in the summer. I don't know, man. But apparently we'll back him with making 50 million available. Now, that doesn't, you know, there's many, we've been discussing it in it, so I don't want to keep going over the same things. But yeah, Kroenke is ready to splash out in January, despite us spending 130 in the summer to sign Fabio Vieira, Turner, Marquinhos, Zinchenko, and probably the poster boy of the summer, Gabriel Jesus. According to the Scum newspaper, pardon me, Mikel Arteta wants to add a midfielder and a winger to his squad. I mean, we knew that in the summer. The Gunners boss, or better yet, Arsenal boss, has relied on a core of 15 players, and he's particularly keen to ease the workload on Bukayo Saka and Granit Xhaka. Arsenal made a late push to sign Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa in the summer. The Brazilian has now signed a new long-term contract. The Gunners could now make a fresh move for Palmeiras' 21-year-old midfielder Danilo, a player technical director Edu knows well, people. The headline is laughable, man. 50 million war chest. I would take Telemans. Apparently, the Gunners could, well, I've already said that. During the summer, Palmeiras were not interested in selling their midfield star due to their involvement in the Copa Libertadores. But that stance could change in Jan, obviously, with the Brazilian season, you know, being different to ours. And an improved offer of around 26 million may be enough to tempt them to sell. Arteta also wants to bring in another top-class winger to provide cover and competition for Saka. And obviously, Mudryk scored a screamer and could have had a couple of assists yesterday. But Arsenal have a long-standing interest in Mudryk, although they are likely to face competition for his signature after another impressive display. Critics will say he's found his level against Celtic. Another potential option for is Villa winger Yeremy Pino, or just Yeremy as he's referred to here. So it is what it is. This article's kind of continuing the same thing about Edu in talks to sign a new deal, folks. But I was kind of reading this already, people. Really, Arteta committed. It's a question for him, but for what I know, he's fully committed. But that's not what I want to talk about. Arsenal remain interested in signing a wide forward after looking at Pedro Neto from Wolves in the summer, and obviously we've got interest in Mudryk. While a left-sided centre back and a midfielder are also long-term targets, the Gunners are aware that the World Cup next month could make their transfer planning more problematic as players run the risk of injury in Qatar. Arsenal are finalising plans for a mini pre-season during the World Cup, as first reported by Standard Sport, and the plan is to head to Dubai for warm weather training, people. It is what it is. Juventus have been linked with Telemans, or better yet, allegedly they're open to leaving Telemans alone because it seems that he'll be joining Arsenal, people. Whatever that means, I'm not too sure. You'd have to draw your own conclusions on that. But Juventus seem to see a midfielder phase for next summer with the player should go elsewhere. I mean, forget Rabiot McKennie. He said, we are talking about Telemans, a Leicester midfielder with very important characteristics. He's physically strong with an absolute level of technique, thanks to which he can play both as a director with the task of getting the ball around and as an attacking midfielder. Bulk of it is, he's contracted until 2023, as we knew. In fact, it must be emphasized that the voice of a strong Juventus on Telemans does not find any kind of confirmation, since the player should move to Arsenal at the end of the season. And apparently, Telemans will not arrive in the middle of the field. There's also difficulties for Juventus with Milinkovic-Savic, people who they've been linked with as well. And also us. Again, Edu reviving plans for Danilo. Allegedly, this is 1 minute is 26 million, then it's 22. So that should be a decent amount. Arsenal to back Mikel Arteta. And as you can see, we were linked with Yeremy Pino in the summer. Maybe he wants out of Villarreal. You know, Villa paid a compensation package for an Emre. Maybe we could get Yeremy Pino on the cheap. You know, Mudryk is welcome as is Pino, and you know, Danilo and maybe a more experienced midfielder would be lit. Arteta wants 2 new faces in January. Hopefully he gets that, people. So we'll have to see, really. So yeah, that would, if we spend 50 odd million or to go with the 130 or anything more, that's already spending 200, close to 200 million without confirming Champions League. So you can't really say Kroenkes, even though I don't agree, aren't backing it. Arsenal confident of keeping Edu as Gunners devise transfer plans for January. Pedro Neto's pictures here, so I wonder what this means, people. Obviously, Pedro Neto is mentioned as a wide player they looked at in the summer, and it's also suggested they'd be looking at Shakhtar Donetsk. So there isn't anything tangible. It's all just everyone's just echoing the same thing. Arsenal eyeing former Unai Emery target, but Chelsea and Liverpool also keen, people. Apparently, Arsenal could join Chelsea and Liverpool in trying to sign Zaha on a free transfer in the summer. Apparently, he's put to bed at this moment in time talks to stay at Crystal Palace, people. 90-minute football says Arsenal are being kept informed of any updates on his situation. Arteta is said to be an admirer of the 29-year-old who has 5 goals in 10 appearances for Crystal Palace at this moment in time, people. Arsenal are understandably not the only English side keen on Zaha. Chelsea tried to get him in the summer. Liverpool are also mulling over whether to make a move on a free transfer. Zaha wants to play in the Champions League, so it's all it is. Apparently, PSG, AC Milan, and rivals Inter are all looking at him, people. Those clubs have the advantage. Obviously, the foreign clubs can chat to Zaha and agree something. Patrick Vieira said, it's not an issue at all. Wilfried knows what the club thinks about him, and we know what he thinks about the club. There'll be discussions taking place. But for myself and for the club, what is important is for him to play at this level, be consistent, and help those young players around him grow. And we'll see what happens, people. It is what it is in that regard. So that's that. Let's continue where we're going with that. This, people. Oh, hang on. What's all of this? Oh, can you lot still hear me on YouTube, folks? I hope you can. No issues? I hope you can. But yeah, Yuri Telemans allegedly should be heading to Arsenal at the end of the season for free. Allegedly, Yuri Telemans should be heading for Arsenal at the end of the season, according to report. We've heard this all the time, people, man. Arsenal and Juventus are waiting for Telemans to enter the final month of his contract before pouncing. It comes as no surprise, people. And we've, pretty tired of hearing Telemans at this point, sign or don't sign. We heard yesterday Arsenal willing to do anything to sign Milinkovic-Savic. We'll have to see. He's contracted until 2024, and they'll be under pressure to sell him in Jan or next summer if he doesn't pen an extension, people. There's even been talk, as you know, appreciate you lot for letting me know you can hear me. Smash the like button, people. There was even talk of offering Lokonga, people, and Milinkovic-Savic has 3 goals and 7 assists in 11 appearances at this moment in time, people. And he's been drawing praise from a teammate. Personally, I think De Bruyne is on another level. Milinkovic-Savic is a fantastic player, and I love watching him play. But honestly, I'm not sure anyone compares to De Bruyne right now. And he's compared him to that. We'd all love him, people. I'm still surprised that no European club have met Lazio's conditions for their star player. Italian clubs always wanted him, but the 75 million price tag was considered too high. And their president spoke a few weeks ago and said it's 120 million if you want him in Jan, which is West. Clearly pricing him out of a move, and they'll deal with him in the summer. Obviously, Austin Chusty's getting a lot of praise, people, over there at Birmingham on loan. I mean, Kevin Campbell's always trying to get us to buy Rashford. Bit of a myth. Arsenal could make a move for Weston McKennie. Lol. But Fabrizio has said Arsenal are not working on a deal for Weston McKennie as of today. Then we'll see in January. He was a target for Tottenham 1 year ago. Nothing happened as Juventus never wanted to let him go on loan. Arsenal preparing Milinkovic-Savic offer, allegedly, as we keep hearing. And Danilo and all of these guys. Balogun has not talked down the opportunity to play for Nigeria. So, yeah, it is what it is in that regard. Apparently, Mudryk is open to joining Newcastle, people. Allegedly, says this report. They've been trying quite hard to bring in someone. Fabrizio said it's pretty clear now why Shakhtar Donetsk have turned down 30 million bid in August for their talented winger Mudryk. He's defo on the payroll. He's defo, when this guy moves, he's defo getting a little 5% of the transfer fee. Top talent who's worth more than 45, 50 million according to Shakhtar. I don't know, maybe in variables. We've spoken about Zaha, people, Champions League clubs eyeing free transfer mid-contract standoff. So we'll have to see, people, where Zaha's concerned. What has been said according to goal.com. Yesterday, we were linked with Naby Keita. We've just seen that Edu might get a new deal, and Arteta has 50 million to spend in January. So, yeah, this is just echoing the same things, people, that we've already gone over. So, you're getting away from that. Obviously, Mudryk once did say, I think every guy dreams about playing in the Premier League. Arsenal are a very good team, very good coach. I like the way they play. From my side, I can't say no to Arsenal in January, but it's not only my decision. No, it's not. Arsenal currently not working on midfielder, as we said, with Weston McKennie. People, thank God. I think Arsenal need a different kind of midfielder, more dynamic. Amen. He said Yuri Telemans was always an option, but Arsenal didn't want to spend 35 million on a player who would be out of contract in a few months. So I can't see Arsenal paying 25 million for a player that's contract's out in 6 months. It's probably anything can happen. I want to be wrong, but unless Leicester say, you know what, 15, 20, whatever, Telemans is happening in the summer, if that is to be a thing. Arsenal only sign players when they're 100% convinced. But in my opinion, Telemans was the perfect player for Arteta, says Romano. Allegedly. Once again, there's talk of going back in for Danilo after the World Cup. People, we've heard 21, 22, 26 million quid. The report claims Arsenal believe Palmeiras could be willing to cash in on their young gem in January, as the Brazilian football season will close just before the World Cup kicks off. Apparently, Edu will test their resolve by lodging an improved £26 million bid. He has a release clause of 86 million. He's 21 years of age and will grow in admirers and apparently a number of European teams. And he's contracted until 2026. So you want the player, put the P's down in it. And hopefully Edu can convince him, really. Once again, Danilo talk. Once again, people, he's dominating things. Thierry Henry says there's something Gabriel Jesus simply won't be able to do at Arsenal this season. He doesn't see him scoring 25, 30 goals for Arsenal. I don't, but I hope he can get 20 or more. Really, that's the task for Jesus. He's already got 5 in 11, but people have been on to him. What has Henry said? And, you know, what can we tell Henry about strikers? Jesus is a guy who can put more pressure. Is he going to be the guy that's going to score 25, 30 goals? No. But what he does is contagious. That's true. But if we don't have someone that's going to be near that, goals win games. You know, if we don't have that, then we're in trouble, really. If Jesus can't be that, we know he's a fantastic player and a fantastic option, but he's got to be able to do that. Then you have the likes of Martinelli and Saka who can do wonders. That's true. You know. So, yeah, it is what it is in that regard. Let's refresh this page as well. Anything new in relation to Arsenal? Zinchenko, what's all of this? Zinchenko and Marquinhos, what happened to you, look? Marquinhos misses Arsenal training ahead of PSV clash as Zinchenko makes slow progress. And obviously, Zinchenko has spent time at PSV on loan, so I'm sure he would want to play in that, you know. But he doesn't seem to be fit. Marquinhos missed training on Wednesday morning after feeling unwell. I mean, Martinelli had a illness. Is there a bit of a bug going through? Zinchenko's been struggling to stay fit, people. So, yeah, one player won't be involved on Thursday. Zinchenko, who missed training on Wednesday as he recovers from a calf issue. The left-back is understood to have undertaken some running in recent days, but he's not yet returned to full training with the team, and Arsenal will not rush his comeback. We miss him, but amen, don't rush man back because we don't need any of that nonsense and people getting injured. Already seen Henderson's been cleared by the FA over the bust-up with Gabriel, so that's that put to bed. Don't forget, tomorrow, Arsenal fans, we're watching PSV against Arsenal. Watch along business from 4:45 because we're live at, well, the game kicks off at 5:45. I'll be live from 7:40 to watch Barcelona versus Bayern Munich. Even if you can't be there, do us a favor, set the like button, people.